Hello and welcome to Pravus Gaming and Chronicle, RuneScape Legends. So, some of my viewers have probably been following me for quite some time because of my RuneScape 3 series, and since I've taken a break from that with the return of Zeros, you might be wondering when that series is coming back. Well, it is coming back soon, but in the meantime, I got access into the closed beta for Chronicle, which is Jagex's latest project. Now, what is Chronicle? Well, at first glance, it does look a lot like Hearthstone, doesn't it? And I suppose in some ways it does have similarities, for example, this concept of collecting cards, and crafting different cards with gems instead of dust, and so on and so forth. Although, to be honest, Hearthstone did take some of that from other games as well, But realistically, even though it looks similar at first glance, Chronicle is honestly a totally different game. And I think you'll understand a bit more about that as we go. Now, before I get too far into this, I want to say, please, stay tuned for the end of the video because I do have some extra closed beta keys that I'm planning on giving away, and I will explain how you can enter for that chance to win pretty soon, by the end of the video. Alright, so, Chronicle. Here's the basic concept of the game. You play as one of 4 heroes in Chronicle. You play as a legend yourself. You can play as Ariane, the mage, Raptor, the tank, Ozan, the thief, or Linza, the blacksmith. Those are the 4 characters that you can pick from. And what you are going to do is you are going to be kind of creating your own story based on the cards that you draw and play, while competing against a rival to become more powerful and eventually duel to the death at the end and prove yourself the stronger legend. That's the basic concept of the game. And there are going to be a lot of different cards that allow you to do so. There are lots of spells and support cards that cost gold. There are a lot of monsters to kill that will give you various benefits for defeating them, or just punishing your rival in the meantime. And each different character does have a very distinct play style, which I think is pretty interesting. Now, my personal favorite, well, of course, here's the Chronicle shop. Just like everything else, you can buy booster packs, eventually bundles, and so on. My personal favorite, of course, as you already know, since I created a deck for the Raptor, he is my personal favorite. Linza probably coming in as a close second, but I have to respect that each class does play very differently, and of course each class has some unique set of cards, while you also can pull from a generic set of cards that everyone has access to. So, the best way you're probably going to be able to understand how this game works is to actually play a game, yes? So why don't we do that? We'll just play one quick game, I'll show you what this is so you can get excited about the game. But keep in mind, this is just a closed beta. There are going to be lots of bugs, and the game isn't entirely balanced quite yet. They're still working on that, but I think they've actually got something pretty cool going on here. So let's do a practice match. I'm going to show off, why not? I'll just show off my custom-made deck. It's certainly not perfect. I haven't gotten all the cards that I want, but it's something. And let's play against a gold opponent. Why not? And who do we want to pick against our opponents? I don't know. Well, I don't want random because they may pick the Raptor. Let's pick, I don't know. Let's pick Ariane. We'll play against her. Alright. And now the reason I'm doing a practice game instead of a live game is really so I can take my time to explain it. So if people are going to say, hey, you're a wimp, you don't want to play against actual players. No, I've been doing that. I promise. But, oh, we go first. Awesome. But I figure we need to take as much time as possible to explain how this game is going to work. So, you start off with an opening hand of cards. If you are going first, you have 6 cards. If you are going second, I believe you get 8 cards. Or is it 7? Oh gosh, could I possibly be making this mistake already? I think it was 8. Either way, you get extra cards in order to help make up for the fact that you were going second. Now, the way that each of these cards work is you can see up top their attack value. So this is a Drunken Pirate with an attack value of 3 and a health of 2. So if I want to fight him, he has 2 health. And if I can kill him before he gets to attack me, then his 3 damage doesn't matter. But if I can't, then he'll attack me. It's kind of a turn-by-turn based thing. You attack this monster first, then he attacks you, and so on. But if he's dead before he can do so, that's great. In fact, that's the ideal. You want to kill things that can't fight back. And then you see down here that there are rewards. So first off, the Drunken Pirate has a special ability. Your rival will lose 1 gold. In this case, Ariane. And again, you'll understand more about this as we go. It'll click, I promise. And you will also gain 1 gold as a reward for killing this. If we look at the Dagonoth Fledgling, we can see that it has 3 health and could do 4 damage to me if it's allowed to attack. But if we kill it, we will regain 6 health. So this is actually a pretty good healing card. Yeah, you have to fight a monster, but whatever, he can't fight back, and in the meantime, you get healed. Awesome. Skeleton Warrior will give me 3 gold. The Void Brawler, if we kill it, will make us lose 5 health, guaranteed, but we will gain 3 armor value, and we will gain a permanent +1 attack. Pretty useful card. The Dire Wolf, for example, 4 health, take 2 damage guaranteed once you kill it, and draw 2 cards and 2 gold. Pretty nice. Honestly, this is actually a pretty solid start to the game, but I don't think that I'm going to need either of these skeleton warriors up front. I don't see anything to spend the gold on. Those are usually spells, so we're going to go ahead and get rid of these, mulligan these 2 cards, and get a couple of replacements. Our opponent just did the same, and we just gained these instead. The KGP agent, stupid penguin, discard a card once you kill it, but you gain a permanent attack. Very good early game card, but of course, there's always the downside of losing stuff. Sucks to lose cards, it really does. We're going to play this guy, and you can see, actually, I should explain this right now. You can see that we are currently in a stage, one certain map mode. It's a chapter of our story, of our Chronicle, and there are 4 steps to every story. What we're going to do is we're going to play encounter cards. So, for example, our first encounter of this chapter will be a KGP agent. It's going to hover right there, and as we take our turns, that's the first thing that I'm going to run into. And I can pick my second encounter. So, for example, we'll have 3 attack. I would like to fight the Void Brawler, for instance. So, once we kill this, we're going to discard our card, but we will have 3 attack instead of our current 2. And down here, you can see your attack, your gold, and your health values. Then we'll fight this, but by the time we fight it, we'll have 3, so we can kill it before it attacks us. We'll lose 5 health, but we'll gain a 4th attack. And then I can use that to fight the White Wolf. And it won't be able to attack me. I will take 2 damage, but this is a good way to get some card draw. And I will also play the Drunken Pirate just to get myself a little gold and possibly make Ariane lose some gold. Now, of course, you're preparing yourself 4 turns in advance, but your opponent is doing the same thing as well. So why don't we click play, and you can see how this is going to work. She's played her 4 cards. Let's see how her turn is going to go as well. So KGP Agent, we are going to do 2 damage right away. We had to discard our Dagonoth Fledgling and lose that health regen. That's unfortunate. Now she's fighting something. I missed what it was, but she just gained a couple gold for it. Now we're going to fight our Void Brawler. So we're going to lose 5 health, guaranteed. So now we're down to 25 health, but now we're up to 4 attack, and we have 3 armor. She's fighting a bandit, who will give her 2 more gold. She's up to 4. Then we're going to fight a White Wolf, because we have 4 damage. We can kill it right away. We gained 2 cards, including another Void Brawler and the Tiztok Jad. 2 very good cards. She is going to draw a card by beating up, what's his name? Rolgo? I don't remember. Either way, Drunken Pirate, rival will lose a gold, I will gain a gold, but she's playing the Haunted Soul so that she can attack me, not kind of indirectly, I suppose is a better way to put it. But she didn't have enough attack value, so she took some damage to her armor before she could do so. And we're going to lose a total of 5 health. And that is going to be the end of the first chapter. We all go up to the teleport, and we move on to the number 2. Jaldreocht Pyramid, or however you pronounce it. Now, we will draw some new cards at every chapter, so this will supplement us fairly well. Now, if I were to spend, for example, 2 gold, this is a spell, these are support cards. If I spend 2 gold, and I lose 5 armor, of which I have none, so that's not actually a penalty for me, I will gain 1 attack. Very nice for us. We can even kill a KGP agent to get another attack. Also pretty nice. So what will happen is, let's plan our turn in advance, we'll spend 2 gold, we'll be down to 1. We'll gain 2 armor so far in this chapter. That'll bring us up to 6. I'm sorry, not armor. Attack value. We'll fight a Void Brawler, get ourselves up to 7, and we'll have 7 permanent attack before we even have any weapons. We can just beat the Tiztok Jad in a straight-up fight and bring us up to 8 attack and 4 armor value by the end of this chapter. Is this making sense? I certainly hope so. Now, support cards come in a wide variance of, well, types, things they can do. Ariane, in particular, has her own set of support cards that particularly do damage to her rival. She'll be harassing me with Wind Strike and Earth's Blast and all sorts of nasty things like that. But, and yeah, that's mostly what her spells are. My spells generally will give me armor or attack value, and so on and so forth. I can have preparation, I can have additional armor based on her gold or her attack, and so on and so forth. There's a lot of different spells. That's one of the ways that the classes really distinguish themselves. But again, each class has their own set of unique monster encounters and support cards. Now I can see how many cards she's currently holding on to, 7. She's going to probably play 4 of those, but if she doesn't, that's actually going to give me a tell as to what she does, because some of her spells are dependent on how many cards that she has in her hand at the moment. So if she doesn't do that, we'll see. But in the meantime, we are going to ramp ourselves up in a lot of power. 4 attack in 1 chapter, that's massively good. So I'm going to do this monolith thing. I'm going to lose no armor value, spend 2 of my hard-earned gold in order to gain some attack. She's going to fight a peon and draw some more cards. Ariane does focus a lot on card draw and harassing your opponent. That's pretty much how she wins. I lost my giant rat, but that's okay. I gained attack value, and frankly, of the 2 cards, that was probably the least valuable. Now, she's not doing a very good job killing this because she's still stuck on only 2 attack value. So she's taking a lot more damage than she probably should be, but she is ramping up a fair bit of gold, and there's that wind strike. See what I'm talking about? She likes to harass me. Now, I'm going to lose some health. I'm actually in a lot of pain right now. Getting that Dagonoth fledgling would have been nice, wouldn't it? But this is just how it's going to have to be. We're going to regen our health effectively with just some armor value instead. Tistok Jad dies right away. We bump ourselves up to 8 attack, and we have 7 health, hopefully, or 7 armor to kind of prevent her from killing us. Now, that said, we are down to a mere 5 health. We're actually in dire straits no matter how powerful we are. It's still entirely possible that she's going to wreck us pretty soon. Okay, some things that we can do here. I'm going to fight the Ice Nihil. I really wish she was a little bit stronger. So the Ice Nihil's pretty good. 5 health, we can deal with that, no problem. Gain armor equal to rival's total attack. Now, if she had a weapon or better attack, we would get more armor out of this. The value of this card scales with the strength of your opponent. As it is, we're going to gain 4 armor and 1 gold guaranteed, plus 2 more. And if she does anything, well, no, we're going first. So that's guaranteed all we're going to get. Not very good, to be honest. Not very good at all. But what's the alternative? We play Sergeant Slimetoes. Now, if we do this, we can beat him. We'll gain 2 armor, and then this is something new you haven't seen yet. This is a weapon. Now, weapons work the same way they do in something like Hearthstone. This is their attack value, so it buffs your attack, and this is the durability. This 2 down here, I'm having a hard time selecting. Come on. Okay, fine, whatever. 3-2 weapon. So that means for 2 swings of my weapon, I will have plus 3 attack. It's temporary, and if I were playing Linza, for example, the blacksmith, she has a lot of cards that will combo really well with building up a super powerful weapon. But that's not quite my style. Now, the thing is, I don't need this weapon right now because, well, I don't need the weapon to fight the Ice Nihil. So if I were to play this first, for example, and then the Ice Nihil, I'll gain the weapon, I'll gain some valuable armor, but then I'll fight an Ice Nihil, and I'll use up 1 of my durability, and I was already powerful enough to deal with this, so it's effectively a waste. Now, at the same time, though, if I play the Ice Nihil second, and she plays something on her first turn that buffs up her attack value, I might get better value out of the Ice Nihil than I would otherwise. And that's where the strategy of the game really comes in. You have to try and predict your opponent. That said, I'm in dire straits. I think I'd rather gain the armor from the Ice Nihil and just take what I can get. 1 bird in the hand versus 2 in the bush. You know how the saying goes. We're going to gain Sergeant Slimetoes and a weapon, 2 durability, and then what we're going to do, we're going to have 1 gold in the bank and 1 more from the Ice Nihil. We can do 2 strikes with the Mage of Zamorak. We'll use up our weapon, but we'll do 11 damage each shot to Ariane directly. That's pretty good. 22 damage in this chapter. I mean, if we can survive, we're going to be putting her in a pretty bad spot. But the question really comes down to, does she have anything that will affect our health directly and do 5 damage? We're going to find out. I could still lose this. Rival's next enemy gains 3 health. That's unfortunate because she just screwed me over. Sergeant Slimetoes will survive the next attack. Now, fortunately, he doesn't do a lot of damage, but that definitely sucks for me. That was a smart play on her part. So we're going to actually take some damage here. 2 damage because he fought back, but he's still dead. No problem. We'll gain that right back as armor value, and now we have a weapon to do damage to her. Now, she did just buff herself up to 3 attack, but she had to discard 1 of her very valuable cards in the meantime. So we're going to strike at her for 11 damage right now, and we're up to effectively 16 health unless she has a spell that bypasses our armor entirely, which could happen. She did gain some temporary attack, which I'm not sure why she did that. She's going to lose some health and draw some cards. Actually, that's going to put her down to only 3 health. That's really dangerous for her. We'll see how that works out. Ooh. Could you be in much trouble? If I can get anything else, anything that allows me to do direct damage to her, I probably could finish her off before we get to the end. Now, there are 5 chapters in each game. What happens if both players survive all the way to the last... Oh, 2 Dragon Longswords and not a lot to do. I could spend armor to gain cards, and I'm lacking a lot of cards. In fact, I have so little cards, there's literally nothing I can do for the entire chapter. Now I've run out of gas, now I'm in a lot of danger. In fact, I'm kind of questioning whether or not it's dangerous to spend my armor up front like this. I'm going to go ahead and put it as my last turn, so that if I take damage, I'm not going to get myself killed because I ruined my armor value up front, so I'll play that as last. I don't have enough gold to buy the dragon longswords, though, so that's unfortunate. I'm actually in a lot of trouble right now. Let's see what she can do over the next couple of turns. Oh, she's going to use the gnome healer and heal me for 4 health. Okay, well, that's great, but I'm looking at her next thing and saying, oh, look, she can spend 8 gold on Earth Blast. Damage of her hand times 2. How much is this going to hurt? 10. She had 5 cards, and she's about to use a Troll Chucker and chuck 4 more damage at me. Ouch, that's really painful. I'm in a lot of trouble. Down to 6 health. She's got another Troll Chucker on its way. So now we're going to be down to a very little, but I don't have any armor to spend, so this is going to be 4 free cards for me. Had I spent those on my first turn, I probably would be dead right now. In fact, I definitely would. So that was actually very fortunate. Now, as I was trying to say, if we both survive all the way to the very end, right? Wait a minute, I didn't have any armor to spend, which means I actually didn't get anything, did I? Uh-oh. Oh no, that's really bad, isn't it? Oh dear, that is very bad. In fact, I've just lost the game. I'm thinking about this right now, and I think I am in a lot of trouble. We're going to play the Armored Zombie right away, of course, to get some armor value. But if I fight the Dagannoth Sentinel, I don't have enough health to survive, and he will survive my attack, so I'm dead. I've officially just lost the game. Oh, wow, that was surprising, actually. See, it's deceptive, because it looks like she was totally going to win. Totally looks like that, because she had, you know, really crappy health, really crappy attack. But because I ran out of steam and ran out of cards and drew 2 cards I couldn't use, then I couldn't buff up my attack, I couldn't fight the Dagannoth Sentinel, now I'm so weak I can't survive. So the best I can do is get some armor value and pray that she doesn't do anything to regenerate health, gain armor, or attack me directly. If she doesn't, I still could win, but the odds are down to like 10%. Wait, why is she healing me? That doesn't make much sense. Why are you doing that? No, wait a minute. Why are you doing that? That's silly. You're healing me up. Now I'm up to 6 and 4. I mean, you heal too, and you're about to use Lady Heffen, which will heal you even more, by quite a bit, I might add, because you have a lot of cards in your hand, because you're Ariane. It's, oh my god. Yeah, that's sort of what she does. At the same time, though, I don't know. This is actually going to get to a pretty close game here. 4 attack. Well, now we're at the end, so we have to duel each other. Now, I do 8 damage, so I'm going to smack her face directly. She gets to fight me. I just won. Wow, I thought I had like a 10% chance, but I just won because we duel at the end. And because of my higher attack value, even though I was extremely weak, she didn't have anything that could attack me directly, and I just won the game. Ooh, a chest. Now, of course, after every victory, you do gain some rewards. What did we gain? We got 5 store tokens and 4 crafting emeralds. Not amazing, but okay. Cool. So these are results. We did play all 5 chapters and survived to the end fight. 14 cards encountered, 4 gold spent, 58 damage taken. Woo! Now, Raptor's playstyle, if you couldn't tell, is all about ramping up personal damage and getting a lot of armor in order to survive. That's how he plays his game. And it worked, but it was close. Actually, just unlocked Raptor as level 5, got some cash that we'll be able to spend toward getting card packs. And we can see that if we unlock level 6, we will gain some new cards. Varrock Guard, gain armor equal to half Rival's gold. Situationally good if you can predict how much gold your opponent is going to have, but potentially a totally wasteful card. You never know. That said, it still gives you a gold, so it's not bad, honestly. Possibly a very good card for Raptor, especially against Ozan, because he's the thief. His entire playstyle will ultimately come down to stealing and spending gold, buying weapons and armor and stuff like that, stealing it from your opponents and weakening them like that. As I already said, though, of course, Linza, as the blacksmith, is all about the combos, getting really strong weapons and using them effectively. Ariane is all about the card draw and the harass. Raptor is about ramping up in power and surviving until the end. That's just how their 4 playstyles work. Pretty cool, honestly, all things considered. Now, if we look at the collection itself, you can see that there are unique support and creature cards for each character. These tabs down here, by the way, I didn't know this at first because it took me a little while to find it, but yeah, you can switch between these 2 tabs for support cards versus enemy cards and so on. So you can see for the Raptor, I only have 4 unique cards for the Raptor. Got a few for Ariane, a few for Ozan, and so on. And as you get more booster decks, you will be able to unlock new cards. Or, alternatively, if you can get crafting materials, just like using Arcane Dust in something like Hearthstone, you can spend your sapphires, emeralds, rubies, diamonds, or your legend tokens, and each card will have a different mix of what it requires, in order to craft new cards directly. Now, it's a little bit hard to grind out these materials as it is, so this is not going to be your primary way of generating cards, but we can take a look. For example, one general card that everyone has access to, I could, for example, craft the Giant Spider, a 2/1, very good early game card that would give us a 3/1 weapon, a very short-term boost to fight a stronger card, maybe help you ramp out of control. Versus we could build a Revenant Demon or a Calphite Worker, or we could go to unique cards and say, hey Raptor, I really want the Revenant Dark Beast. 10 health and 8 damage, gain 3 temporary attacks, strike your rival, gain 3 armor. You know, some cool things you can do with that. We can also sort by our very rare cards with the diamonds here and see that there are some hero cards. For example, Zamoragul. Y'all recognize this guy. 7/14, draw 3 undead cards, deal 3 damage to your rival per undead in your hand, and then discard all undead. Now, how does that work? I don't know. I feel like you probably have to generate a bunch of undead class cards for this to be very effective, but you can see how that kind of would work. And of course, some people have their own unique things as well. Ozan, for example, has Lady Kelly, or Linza has Char. You know, these are things that will take a very long time to get the materials required to build them. For example, Zamoragul would take 20 diamonds, and 70 diamonds. 70 diamonds. I only have 2, and it will take me a long time to get them. You can also exchange some of your gems, trying to get other things. For example, I could exchange 25 sapphires to get 5 emeralds, which would be useful if I wanted to craft an uncommon card as opposed to a common one. So, for example, Toxil. So, 5/2, gain 2 armor, lose 2 health, your next enemy loses 4 health. Potentially good if you're fairly weak, but you want an early game fight against Tiztok Jad, for example. I mean, there's a lot of combos you could potentially do, and of course there are going to be a lot of very unique decks that people do put together. You can, of course, go to your collection and create a new deck, pick one of your heroes, for example, Ariane, and do a full custom deck and create your own thing. That's what I ended up doing with my mid-range Raptor deck, and there's a lot that I would like to add to that mid-range Raptor deck eventually, but for now, it seems to be doing me pretty well. But that, guys, is Chronicle in a nutshell. A very brief nutshell with a simple practice game. I'm probably going to play this a little bit more in the future, and I probably will do some more videos on it. So now we come to the part of the video that some of you guys have probably been skipping ahead looking for. I mean, don't be ashamed, we've all done it, right? Totally? That said, though, I would appreciate you actually watching the entirety of my video, because it does help the analytics on YouTube. But anyway, you guys want to know how you can get into this game yourself. Well, fortunately, when Jagex did send me my closed beta key, they also sent me 3 additional closed beta keys that I can give away to friends, or in my case, my viewers. So I've decided to make a little contest out of it. A chance for you guys to earn it, to win it fair and square, and have a little bit of fun, right? So here's what I am going to do. Rules are very simple. I'm going to leave a comment down in the video below, and I'm going to ask 3 questions. I would like you to reply to that comment specifically, and the reason I want you to do that rather than leave your own comment is so that I can get a good clear timestamp as to who submits first. But I'm going to ask 3 questions about the history of this channel. There are some momentous occasions that occurred, and if you have been watching my channel for a long time, you might recognize some of these details, and you might be able to answer right away. Some of you guys might have to go digging for it, but those first 3 people who can answer each individual question are going to get a closed beta key. Now, to clarify, I'm not saying you have to answer all 3 in order to get 1 key. No, I'm saying that I'm going to ask, question number 1. The first person who can submit the answer to question number 1 is going to get a key. And then there's question number 2. The first person who can answer question number 2 is going to get a key, and so on and so forth. All right? So here are the 3 questions. Very simple. All right? What is the first video that I released with the new microphone setup that I am currently using? You may not know what it is. I'll give you a hint. It's not in the RuneScape series, so you'll have to look a little bit beyond that. But those of you who have been watching all my series might recognize a video where I said I'm trying out a new audio setup. It's the one I'm still currently using to this day. So, if you can find that and tell me which video I first announced that, you will get a beta key. The second question, you guys know that I am now married, of course. Well, there is a video, and I'm going to go ahead and give you another hint. It was in the RuneScape series this time, But there was a particular video where I announced that I had asked a girl out. She had originally said no, and I was going to try again. I mentioned that. Can you tell me which RuneScape 3 video I asked? I mentioned that. And then the last one, when I reached 1,000 subscribers, I was on vacation. Where was I? No other hints beyond that, because this is actually a pretty easy one if you want to do a little bit of digging. Alright, those are the 3 questions. Again, I will write those out in the comments section below. So for those of you guys who want to submit an answer and try to get a closed beta key, go ahead and submit. First come, first serve. And I will send you a private message if you are a winner, and we'll send you a key. Alright, I think that sounds fair. I hope you guys are going to have fun with that. My name has been Pravus, and I will see you guys next time.